How's it going, guys? Today I want to talk about the top mistakes people make when starting a business in the Philippines. Let's go. So these days, I gotta admit, here in the Philippines, I tend to stay away from expat Facebook groups, but when I was on there, I would often see that people would be so quick to say that it is a terrible idea to start a business in the Philippines, and that is true. It is a terrible idea to start a business in the Philippines if you don't follow the right practices. However, I think that a lot of the people that were quick to put down the idea of starting a business in the Philippines didn't know the best practices for starting a business over here, and they were either involved in or watched others have crashes and burns because they didn't follow those best practices. Now, at the outset, it needs to be said, it is difficult to start a business anywhere in the world. Even in the US, where I come from, if you look at the success rates for businesses in their first year, they are incredibly low. Those that survive their first year are unlikely to make it to their fifth year. And even all of us have seen businesses that have been around for 100 years. So it's a little bit unfair to just say that it's a bad idea to start a business in the Philippines. However, I do see some common mistakes over here that people need to avoid. The first mistake that I see people make over here is that they start a business that has a crazy amount of competition. So people will look at a sari-sari store, just selling everyday items like, crackers or shampoo or something like that off the side of the road. There are a million of those stores out there, especially in certain areas. And so often people will open up yet one more sari-sari store when there's already 50 of them within about a 1-minute walk. Make sure that if you're starting a business in the Philippines, that you start something that isn't already oversaturated with a million of exactly the same thing right in that same area. Same thing with food businesses over here, especially carinderia type of food places that are just low cost street foods. There's so many of them, and often people will start one more. Now, there's something else to say with competition. Sometimes businesses do have a lot of competition, however, they have so much demand. And so that's the caveat that I would say there. There might be a lot of carinderias, but there might be a ton of people that go there every day because it's a hot spot for buying food. You really need to look at supply and demand. Is there a lot of competition there? It's not necessarily a bad thing as long as there's still a lot of demand. I would highly recommend, though, asking business owners or just asking employees that work at those places, what are your sales in a day? You will be surprised in the Philippines how many people will give you those numbers. And that's going to help you to really see if there's still opportunity for yet one more of whatever type of business it happens to be. Now, the second mistake that I see people make over here is that they'll start a business idea that has a far too small profit margin. And the two businesses that I just mentioned, which people often start here, are great examples of that. They might have a lot of volume, but they might just make 5 pesos, 10 pesos per sale, and you have to sell a lot of whatever it is that you're selling for that to even pay your rent, for that to even pay your payroll. So make sure that you start a business that doesn't have too low of a profit margin, or else it's going to be a challenge. I know one of the other popular businesses over here that people think of is laundry businesses. And that's another business. There's very small profit margins, very high startup costs comparative to how much you're going to be able to sell those services for. And that makes it a real challenge. Better to have a business that has better profit margins, if at all possible. And most of the popular business ideas that people go for in the Philippines tend to be the ones with lower profit margins. Can you find something to sell that is expensive? I know that's counterintuitive over here, but sometimes businesses that sell things for a lot don't have as much demand. There's not as much competition. People that have money are going to be more likely to go there because there's not a lot of opportunities to find businesses doing stuff with excellence where the prices may also be higher. And as a result, you're often going to have the opportunity to make a bigger profit margin. A third mistake that I see people often make over here is that they underestimate just how much things will cost to set up. Yes, payroll tends to be lower here in comparison to a lot of other countries. However, I found that sometimes you need more support staff for accountability or to get certain jobs done. And so it's not necessarily one-to-one ratio in terms of employees compared to running the same business in a Western country. Also, some things like rent, especially depending on what type of business you are, may be exactly the same as the country where you come from. Some things like internet or computers or different expenses like that may be more expensive from the country than you came from. Take our Cebu City office as an example with Purple Cow. We have 3 internet connections there, and all of them are more than I pay for my internet bill in California. Why do I need 3? Because they all suck, and I need a lot of redundancy over here. Those type of things just add a lot of costs that might be unexpected for a business. So really make sure that you do due diligence over here and find out exactly how much things will cost. Another mistake that I see people make here in the Philippines is that they take their work culture with them. They think that however business is done, however people are led or managed in their country is how things will be done here. And even if they know, well, things aren't done that way here, but I'm gonna really bring my culture over here and show them how to do it a better way, those people are gonna find that life just doesn't work out that way. Culture is not very adaptable. It's slow to change. And that is certainly the case when it comes to work culture. You're gonna have to be the one to learn to adapt to the work culture here. As a boss, you have to figure out what is it that motivates people and blend into the culture here as much as possible. And it's a lot more of a challenge than you might think. So talk to other foreign business owners here, and especially talk to great Filipino managers and leaders over here and ask them their secrets to success for managing Filipino employees. Last but not least, people underestimate here just how hard it is to find great employees, especially post-pandemic, people that are willing to work from the office, people that aren't going to use the rain as an excuse for showing up to work, and all kinds of other excuses that you're probably not used to. People that are really invested in the success of you and your business. Those people in the Philippines are gold. And I think that people often underestimate how difficult it could be to find enough of those employees, people that are going to really be thinking of your customers, your clients, thinking of the business, thinking about how to do their best to ensure things grow, thinking about how to continue improving in their role. Sometimes it takes a while to find those types of people to power your business. When I think of our Cebu City office, I could leave and be in our Davao City office like I am right now and know that everything is going to go smoothly, that production's not going to go down, that everybody's going to still be doing their best work, that things are going to happen on time and with great quality. However, it took years to get it up to that stage. And so don't underestimate how hard it is to build a great team over here that's going to help your business be successful. Do you have other questions about running a business in the Philippines, or are you looking at outsourcing here to the Philippines? It's what I love to do. It's what I love to help people out with. So if there's any way I could help, make sure and reach out to me. There's a link in the description below. As always, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Take care.